right, here we are. It's Mr. Fall himself is in the studio now. The Taylor Roundup. And Daniel, yes, you've lived here all your life, right? You're a native-born Texan. You got a legendary last name. You've got a pedigree. You're the director of communication. You're sending the wrong signal out to the citizenry today. This is called a false fall this morning.
It is.
And you've bundled up like you're going to the Arctic.
Well, I need to work on my vest game because I need more warm weather vests.
I'm a big vest guy.
This is all I got.
You can only wear it 3 days out of the year, But you're rocking it today. You look good. You got your green. You could almost represent us because you've got Rockdale blue and Taylor green.
Got it all going on.
I mean, you really do. That's impressive. It really is. You got your Merce over there, and you're just
See,
awesome.
I went out and I rode my bike this morning. It was 62 degrees.
Isn't that
and
nice?
I said, I'm wearing a vest today. It's
It
happening.
was 55 when I left the ranch this morning. Oh, it was nice.
Man.
But,
so good.
And last night when I got home, running a little late, I sit there and watched the sunset, had the dogs, let them run out in the pasture, get a little exercise, chase some birds around. And
it's the American dream right there.
It was, and it was peaceful, and it felt like no humidity, so it was just really a nice evening.
That's wonderful.
So there you are. Enough about you. How about me?
Yes.
Okay. You got a lot to talk about today. And hey, Johnny, I just wanted you to know.
It's Jeremy.
Jeremy Kingery over here. I just want to tell you how much I appreciate you sending this out. Because I print this out every night before I leave.
You're welcome.
You made him walk all the way over.
I
just to
didn't
say,
know what was happening, so I needed to come.
Well, you do a good job.
We have to do good radio here, so you can be on.
Well, I don't know where. Oh, here. Oh, here.
I'm trying to
didn't
change
know.
it from within. So.
Okay, well, it's one step at a time.
That's right. We'll learn one of these days.
Yes, you will.
Thank you.
Thank you. We have a guest in the studio.
We do. We have a guest. This is Nicole Cobia. She is our Director of Internal Services.
That's right.
Welcome, Nicole.
Thank you, Daniel.
Oh,
Thank you for having me here today.
Are you kidding? We're tickled to have you because we get bored with him occasionally.
How can you get bored with Daniel?
Oh, Daniel just, sometimes.
He keeps us on our toes at
He
City Hall.
He does. And the keyboard cowboys have gone after you a little bit.
Just a little, and that's okay.
That's okay. You can handle it.
You got to earn your stripes.
You need to practice anyway because when you become governor,
oh gosh,
Oh
wait, where's my checklist? Darn it, I forgot my checklist. I've got my bingo card.
Really?
Yes.
And
politics.
Is there
one?
Was that on the bingo card?
Well, you touched my hair, but you haven't mentioned it on the station yet, so I can't put a mark next to it. But
you do have a bingo card, don't you?
I do. I just totally forgot to bring it.
Oh, I can't wait to see
You mentioned my outfit, so I marked one on there.
Yeah.
History.
Your history.
Marked one on there. So you're 3 for 4 right now.
You almost are going to be able to call big. Wait. Your
bag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your bag. I talked about that.
We did.
Okay. And we mispronounced Jared's name.
I guess I should make that. Yeah.
That's on there. That's bingo
Jeremy.
right there.
Yeah, we won.
That is.
We won.
You won.
I think we won. That's 5 in a row.
What's the prize?
KRXT coffee mug.
A KRXT coffee mug.
Which you get
Yes.
as a parting gift.
There we
We
go.
always do
Nice.
that for our new guests. What is your role in the city? What is that? That's a big title.
It is a big title. I've been with the city for 4 years.
Okay.
And internal services consist of the fleet department, the building maintenance, information technology. So we
And
have,
safety.
and I do the safety too.
You
I'm
go
the
from
safety
old
manager.
school stuff to modern new stuff, right? From the internet to the road.
Right. We handle
cover
all
it
the critical infrastructure to keep the daily operations of the city going. The buildings, you have to have the buildings, the fleet, and of course the
You got to have
technology.
and you got to pay for the gas. Got to pay the gas
for the
bill,
gas
right? Got
bill.
to make sure that's correct. Run that through the system.
Right.
What's amazing too is that she's sort of a one-person shop in a lot of what she does, She handles these 4 departments that we just mentioned, and yet
And
has
she's a staff of one.
she has a couple guys in fleet.
It's a staff of
couple
8.
guys.
We have 3 in the fleet department. We have a superintendent, 2 mechanics, and then we have 3 in building maintenance.
Adjust her mic up a little bit so it's pointing more. So no, just to tilt it. There you go. You know these things.
Had to
Yeah.
get some leverage.
Okay, get a little leverage there. You got it.
So is that better?
That's
so
much better. I don't want you to have to lean in. I want you to.
in building maintenance, we have a superintendent and a building tech. Then we have a full-time custodian. And we outsource custodial too as well for City Hall, Police Department, and the library. Those come in at night through a third party.
Sure.
And then for information technology, the IT department, we outsource that to a managed service provider, which is a national company that has a local staff that assist us on our daily technology. And then I'm the liaison for them.
And then no one else in safety.
Well, we have a safety review board that helps,
Well.
but and then we have each department has their own safety representative to address their.
That you meet. Do you meet quarterly, monthly, weekly?
The safety review board meets quarterly, and we review any accidents and incidents that have happened and assess points, and then go over all the trainings that they need to be doing weekly and monthly.
If a car in the police department, for example, has a wreck, we call it a fleet.
Fleet.
Yeah, a fleet. So do you handle those too?
Yes, we handle
Okay,
those.
so you handle everything safety related for the city all the way through. That is a
Right.
huge role.
And then our department handles the claims as well for those
You do?
fleet accidents. Yes.
I find it interesting, Daniel, that everyone that you bring on to the show talks about how much they do with so little support. That's pretty. Guys do a lot with a little.
Yeah, and I think Nicole is and she won't like me saying this, but she's the exemplar of that. She's pretty much in the office earlier than everybody else and stays later than everyone else and comes in sometimes on the weekends. And I don't do that just to earn brownie points or anything, but it's one of those situations where while she does have support from some staff, every single fleet vehicle she plans for and manages its replacement and maintenance.
How many vehicles are there in the Taylor fleet?
We have right at 254 right now units. That's equipment, so all your mobile
That's
equipment
everything.
and
That's
the
everything,
vehicles.
right?
So there's right at 97 vehicles, and then like 100 and
Yeah, things like
47.
backhoe machines and dump trucks.
all the dump trucks, your vac trucks, your fire engines, your police patrol units. We handle everything.
Lawnmowers.
Well, I was gonna
Lawnmowers.
say, lawnmowers, anything
Our fleet
that
shop
runs-
works on all the department's tools, like small tools. They're weed eaters, chainsaws, sharpened blades for them.
Really, they sharpen blades? Hey, can I run one by? I got one with a dull blade on it right now, as a matter of fact.
Get in line.
We can get you in about 6 weeks.
Yeah.
On the
Okay.
schedule.
There you go. Really? That's just rude.
And then every single laptop across the entire city, every single desktop,
Well,
she has
I
an
was going to talk
inventory
about
and manages maintenance.
cybersecurity in cities, right? We had a luncheon that you attended with me. Oh, it must have been 9 months ago. And we had it was out at the mansion. Remember that one? And the folks from ERCOT were there. And I asked the guy, he was head of security, what's ERCOT like security-wise? He said, it would frighten you. There's one of your vehicles going right now.
I hear it.
The cybersecurity at ERCOT, the number of attempts to hack ERCOT would scare you. It's so many. Every single day, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. What's it like for a city? Because you've read stories about cities that have been held hostage and had to pay ransom.
Yeah, I actually did a quick Google search just to see who was the latest one, and literally 2 days ago,
Yeah.
the city of St. Joseph, Missouri is the latest to fall victim to a cyber attack.
You actually did that search,
I did.
knowing that we were going to talk about it.
I knew you were going to bring it up, and if you didn't, I would have, because it's such an important topic
It is.
today.
That scares me to death here. I was the TAB had our big convention recently in the end of July, and one of the vendors was pitching cloud-based radio, right? You put your music, put everything up in the cloud. No, because the bigger that cloud gets, the more people want to attack it. So we don't do any of that. We keep everything, and we have a hard break between the World Wide Web and our stuff.
Yeah.
Have to.
Yeah.
And I can only imagine a city, what security measures you must have to go through.
Right. We stay on top of that. We are committed to the protection of the citizens and the employees' information. And we do a lot of table talk workshops, exercises on cybersecurity with other cities, the regional, with our insurance. And we just try to train the employees well so that they know all the social engineering red flags to look for.
Well, can we talk about some of those?
We can talk about some of it. We don't like to
I know
talk
that,
a lot about.
Well, but it relates to everyday commoner.
Right.
Susie and Bobby Lunchbucket, who have a computer at home and are getting weird emails, that kind of thing. I bet you the city, you have a checklist of things that you tell your staff. Here's what to look for, and here's what to do and what not to do.
Right, especially the phishing emails. Be careful what you click on. And then training the staff to know, so they know if they accidentally clicked on something, how to report it to IT so that we can mitigate the situation immediately to, protect
What are some of the
city.
phishing things that you have seen?
DocuSign is one of the big trends where they're attacking by DocuSign.
You know what? I got 3 of those last week here. 3 of them.
Just being very careful on if you click on it, contact whoever sent it first to make sure they did send the document before you click on it. We try to stay away from DocuSigns and just do everything through email.
And it's funny how does the city work on a Microsoft type platform?
We do have Microsoft,
Okay. And Microsoft is probably the most attempted hack software out there, right? For some reason, these hackers have it in for Microsoft. And so they're always developing hacks for Microsoft users.
And Microsoft stays on top of it. They're always developing new tools that you can put in place. So it's just adding additional layers of protection to the city network that helps protect us. So we've added additional money in the budget for this next coming year to purchase those additional tools in order to safeguard our network.
We use Microsoft email, and now it goes into quarantine. If
Correct.
It's funny, and it gets a little aggravating at times because it quarantines things that normally I get all the time, and all of a sudden this one particular one, it does. It's a hassle, but it's worth it.
And we've had situations where, we would get a attacks from a particular country, and we'd have to block all traffic from that country. But then we're getting all of these emails that are routed for some reason at some point through that country that are getting blocked, and so it brings up a lot of challenges.
If you're a reader, there's a great book about hacking called Sandworm.
Sandworm?
Sandworm. Sandworm was the first chain virus that was created. And if you recall back, Sandworm, it's a great book. I've got it. In my ebooks. The premise behind all these hacks, the very first virus that was used against a country was created. Do you know where?
I guess in the country in which we sit.
America. The United States created it. And you know how it was first deployed? Do you remember the centrifuges in Iran that were spun up and exploded and all that to slow down the Iranian nuclear program? It was done by allegedly an Israeli Mossad agent that infected the Iranian computer system.
Is it a thumb drive?
Yeah, it was a
Plugged
thumb
into the
drive.
thumb drive?
Yeah. but it was created. We were the first country to cyber attack another. Little known fact, and
Yeah.
it's in that book. I was a little surprised by that.
Yeah. It's
But so
fascinating.
you're constantly having to go through, and that's a profitable business line these days, because to be a cybersecurity smarts, man, it's constantly an evolution.
And even, the average person as well will be hit constantly with what we call phishing attempts. They're phishing for your private information,
Why
right?
do they call it phishing but spell it phishing? Have you noticed that? How it's
Phishing.
spelled?
There's a second H.
Well, it began with over the telephone. And so people would call acting like they're a representative of a company to try and get your
You ever
private
had one of
information.
those called?
I have. And so it was phone phishing. They're phishing for something over the phone. So PH.
Oh, so
phishing.
that's where the PH
That's where the
came
PH
from.
came from.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because, Sheriff talks all the time about these folks that call in and say your grandson is in jail, $5,000. You got to go to Target to buy gift cards.
Yeah, but it's even simpler nowadays. On your phone, you'll get an email that looks like a legitimate Microsoft email. That says, "Hey, your email subscription is up for renewal. Click here, sign in, and to make your payment." And people will click there. They'll put in their email and password without even thinking about it,
Sure.
and then suddenly,
Boom.
instantly, they lose access to their email account.
Well, not only that, but banks all the you're always trying to get.
Well, and your email's the keys to the kingdom, right? So
It is.
if you're trying to sign in somewhere, you forgot my password, goes to your email address. So if someone can get access to your email, they can get access to your social media, your bank account, your cell phone.
All they have to do
everything.
is find the name of your dog. Because most people, for some weird reason, use their name of their pet as their password.
Is your password Fido?
No,
Fido.
it's not. I don't have a dog named Fido.
You don't?
No,
What's your dog's name?
I'm not saying on the air. How about that? May or may not be, but okay. So that's one aspect of what you do. What's the most challenging thing about your week?
The challenging thing is usually I come in with a plan each day, and then at 8:30 a.m. that plan has changed, and so then
It's
I've got
out
to
the window.
it's out the window, and then you start a new plan. So that's kind of the challenging thing.
Or Daniel knocks on the door and says, "Hey, I got this idea."
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Does
but
Daniel do that a lot?
not too often.
I used to do it more than I do now.
So you've been with the city of Taylor for 4 years. Tell us about you and where you came from and what you did before you went to work.
Well, I was born in Taylor, so I have
You're a
deep roots
duck?
here. I'm a duck.
Once a duck, always a
always a
duck. I
duck.
mean,
So I love my hometown. Of course, people that move in end up loving their hometown, Taylor, too. But
we love it here. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so, Taylor's it holds a spot in my heart that's dear to me. I've raised my 4 kids here. My grandparents were raised here. They graduated from Taylor High School. So we've just been here. We moved away for a little while to College Station for about 8 years when I was 2 years old, and then we came back when I was 10. So I've been here ever since. And
Did you go to A&M?
I did not go to A&M. I was at Southwest Texas State University at the time.
You look like you might have gone
was
to
a Bobcat.
Southwest State University. By the way, that I don't know when that was. When did you graduate from Southwest?
Well, I did not graduate there. I
that's
didn't
okay.
finish school, but I did go there. It was in 1991 when I went there in 92.
And I believe that was the year it was voted the #1 party school in the United States.
That
Because
might
of-
be why I didn't finish.
Were you in a sorority?
No, I was not a sorority girl.
okay.
I was
There-
more of a just country girl.
Nothing wrong with being a country girl. But isn't it interesting, though, the stories that I hear, and Daniel, I know you've heard, of people that are born and raised here, leave for a little while, and then immediately come right back and gravitate back home. That says a lot about a community.
It does. It says a lot about that you felt connected to the people there
Yeah.
and the culture, and your identity was tied to the community where you grew up, and so you wanted
All right,
to
well,
return
look,
home.
we're going to hold that thought. We need to take a little break here. You're listening to Daniel Seguin and our director of all things internal at the city of Taylor on the Taylor Roundup right here on Hometown Highlights on 98.5 KRXT, Rockdale, Taylor, and Cameron. And we'll be right back after we pay a few bills. Well, it's Taylor Roundup, and we have a very special guest with us, Daniel. And we were talking off the mic about Korea, the Chinese restaurant.
Not the nation.
Not the nation, and they spell it different. But the food's amazing. But your husband is kind of a legend around here. Okay, he was the head coach for Taylor Ducks football, retired, and then Heidi over at St. Mary's Catholic School, when they said, "Hey, we want to do football, coach," and he came back. And we are going to broadcast the very first St. Mary's Catholic 6-man high school football game at the old Taylor Field for senior night over at October the 3rd.
Wow.
And I got a chance to meet your husband.
Yes.
And he seemed pretty excited about that.
He is excited.
You know, I think that's cool. Now, look, we know the score is going to be 99-96 or something like that because it's 6-man football and they score. Now, did they win last week?
They did not win, but they made a lot of improvements from the week before.
Really?
That's what we look for.
There's a mercy rule in 6-man ball. If you're in the third quarter and the score is 45-0, you pretty much go to Dairy Queen after that. you pretty much can call it a night.
Yeah.
But what was the score last week? You remember?
I don't know the
Were
exact
you at the
score.
game?
I was at the game. I was cheering them on.
Do you?
I think it was 73-24. I know we got the mercy rule in the fourth quarter.
Oh, well, at least it was.
That's where it kind of
played
took off.
along.
It was only at second quarter was 14-14. I do know that.
There's a huge amount of like there's a little school called Benjamin, which is up in northwest Texas. They play 6-man ball up there. And it's amazing to watch. Everybody gets the ball, and all you do is run up down the field. Score, 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 score. It's kind of like Thorndale did to Thrall a couple weeks ago. It was just nonstop. Sorry, Jay, that was a little
I've
little
seen
jab.
worse. Trust
yeah,
me.
well.
I've actually never
There's been
seen
tough
6-man
moments.
ball.
You,
I
why
need
don't you
to check
come?
it out.
Why don't you come? Bring your wife.
October 3rd, you said?
Yeah. October the 3rd.
Taylor Memorial Field.
Taylor Memorial Field over by Plowman's. We can
That's
go
a Friday
eat,
night, right?
We can go eat at Plowman's, and then we can amble over there and watch that game. I think it'd be fun.
I think that would be a lot of fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Be
Okay.
good.
Well, look, you've got some more questions. You were gonna delve into this a little more with this.
Yeah, one of the things that I think a lot of people have been interested in hearing about, and Nicole is over building maintenance, and so the Justice Center is one of those topics that folks often ask, where is it at, right? What's happening in the project?
Where
What's
is
next?
the Justice Center?
Where is it?
Yeah.
It hasn't been
Yeah.
built.
Well, there you go. Explains why I can't find it.
Yes. Yeah, you drive around and you're just wondering.
But there's
where's
a
that
new
big, beautiful
building
cupola?
under design right now.
Yes. In fact, to give those who didn't know, the city of Taylor is building a new city hall / police department / municipal court building.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to house all three of those departments, replace the existing
and
aging buildings.
Plus your offices and everybody else's offices.
Right. Everyone who's currently in city hall will move, and there's
is the
additional.
city manager moving?
He is. Yes.
And how about our new guy from tourism?
Our new tourism guy will most likely be in there as well.
Have you met him?
I have.
What do you
Sean
think?
Johnson.
What do you think about Sean?
I think he's great. I've known him about a week.
Well, we found out
gonna do great
quickly
things.
that he's an intelligent individual. Because the first weekend he's here, he goes and has pie at the Texan Cafe, and then he drives out to Bluebonnet out in Marble Falls and has pie. And anybody that his mission is pie is my kind of guy.
Coconut pie?
That's why he
Coconut,
doesn't like
that's
me very much, 'cause I didn't
exactly-
I
get
know you
pie.
like coconut
Oh,
pie.
of course, yeah. But and he's from Ole Miss. He's a hottie toddy up that way. So we're looking forward to a lot of great things from him.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed. Yeah. I wish I would have thought to get pie the first day I moved here.
What'd you get?
We went to Plowman's, actually.
Smart move.
Yeah.
You didn't have barbecue over here?
Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, we might have had a slice of pie at Plowman's when we were there.
Oh, they make great pie, too.
But, yeah, it's not the pie place, but it's pretty good.
It's not Judge Redden's carrot cake, but it's,
Right.
It's up there.
I don't think anything's Judge Redden's carrot
I don't
cake,
think so
except
either.
for, we've established that.
Absolutely.
Yes.
How do you get Judge Redden's carrot cake?
Oh, that's the question.
Boy, you
To talk to
gotta
Greg.
you gotta know a lot of people and do a lot of begging on your radio station.
It's called lobbying. There's lobbying that
No,
goes
this
on for
was
carrot
pretty.
cake.
No, I was gonna say beg.
You're on your knees.
I'm absolutely. If you ever had it, it's like ambrosia. It's so good. But anyway, let's get back to business.
But yeah, so Nicole, can you tell us a little bit about the Justice Center, what the community can expect? How big is it? What kind of funds is going to be saving the city by having a newer building, that kind of thing?
Okay. Well, right now we had 3 different design phases. We had the schematic, and then we had the design development, and now we're in construction documents. So we're on the last phase before we actually start construction, which is really exciting. We've been working on this since 2024, early 2024. So we're moving along, and it's going to be great because we're going to have 1 facility instead of 3 to maintain. And the older buildings are starting to get harder and harder to maintain. They're just not energy efficient. The infrastructure for the IT is not very sufficient.
It was an old Safeway building. What do you expect? Right.
Right. I'm in the
That's what it
aisle
was.
3
wasn't
of Safeway right now.
But wasn't that what it was? Right.
was the
no
Safeway building.
You could tell the architecture what it was.
Right. And we've had to piecemeal departments in there, just kind of as we add in on space. We're running out of space in the auditorium. As you can see, we've been adding on different offices throughout the auditorium.
Well, and you're going to need more space for citizens to go to council meetings too, because that's always crowded. Everyone I've attended.
It is crowded. Sometimes we have a lot of overflow.
A lot of folks get worked up.
Well, we want to provide them an opportunity to be in the actual room as opposed to just in the overflow space,
Sure.
right? I think we only have room for maybe 20 residents at most.
And
in the
do you
actual
have to
chambers.
go out for a bond for a project like this, or is this worked into the budget?
That's a good question. So there's a couple of different ways that the city can finance it. They can do cash that just works it into the budget if they have enough funding. The second way would be a general obligation bond where we go out to election to the voters and they vote on it. And then the third is called a certificate of obligation. And that is where the state has given us strict rules on when we can utilize certificates of obligation, which is basically just going out and purchasing
It's
debt.
like a loan.
It's like
City
a loan.
loan.
Right. And so things like a police facility is one of those things we can go out and get certificates of obligation for: streets, parks, infrastructure, et cetera. And so that's how the Justice Center is funded at this point, is a certificate of obligation.
Certificate of obligation.
Right.
So, we should have asked the CFO, and I forgot last week. What's the bond rating? What's the city of Taylor's bond rating?
I think it
Do
was
we know, is
recently
it AA or
upgraded to
3A?
AA plus.
Oh,
It's the
okay.
same level as the federal government, is what I understand.
I don't know that I'd brag about that, but we're
Well,
trillions in debt. But
We are, but to understand that it's the highest level that a government can have, essentially. And so
Did you
what it
get-
basically says is folks
Okay.
can understand that we're going to pay back our debts and we get the lowest interest rate possible.
yeah, that's right. The better the rating, the cheaper the rate, the easier it is to pay back. Did
Right.
you hear Mayor Areola speak yesterday on the station?
I didn't have a chance to listen to it.
Well, we thought you might be. So he's very committed. Jay had it in the news this morning that the tax rate has been reduced. And I'm going to get the guy from the appraisal district, because I don't think people understand. The average person doesn't know that the city of Taylor or this Taylor ISD or the county has anything to do with those departments. That is a state agency that is mandated by the state and is controlled by the state. And appraisers, and sure, you can go protest, and there's a committee to hear it, but they always 99% of the time tell you, sorry,
Right.
because there's a requirement that you have to be appraised at least 90% of value.
Of market value.
Yeah, of market value. And who sets that?
Right. And so there's really two levers, right, to the tax rate. The one lever is the appraisal district, as you mentioned. They can decide how much they think your home's worth. And the other lever is the tax rate, and each taxing entity gets to decide what their tax rate is within some state limitations. The state only allows us to increase how much revenue we get on existing properties.
They just changed that, didn't they?
I believe they did. I think they moved it down to 1%, is what I'm hearing.
per year.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Mayor Areola and the council was very committed to make sure that while appraisals are up, the city's part of your tax bill has dropped.
You're exactly right. And so, well, I shouldn't say exactly right.
I'm never exactly
the
right.
average amount, the average homeowner pays on their taxes has gone up on approximately 3.5% every year for the past 7 years. And so that trend is continuing. While the rate is coming down, appraisal values have actually gone up. And so what that means for the average homeowner is about $100 a year.
Yeah,
difference.
we know that like I say, one triggers the other, but
Right.
the city's committed to being fiscally conservative.
Well, and here's what residents can expect, excuse me, with this new law that requires us to only go up 1% per year. If you think about this, if we want to keep all services static, right, we do the same thing, maybe we make it a little bit more efficient, but we're doing the same services year over year. With inflation hitting us 3-4% every year, that means we're actually going to have to to cut back on services if we can't go up more than 1% on existing properties.
Sure.
So the only way to fund improvements in how we operate moving forward in the future is to have new growth. And so that's where this change in mindset, why the comprehensive plan is important, and this new process we're going through is to identify how are we going to grow, where are we going to open up growth so that we can improve services, so that streets in town are going to go from feeling like you're riding a back road and you need four-wheel drive to a nice smooth street with beautiful curbs, with good drainage, where we don't have flooding during storms, et cetera. To be able to do that, we're going to have to attract more growth. And I know that we have some folks, a lot of folks in the community who are growth resistant. We understand. But that's what it's going to take.
I don't feel that anymore.
No?
No, I don't feel that people don't want Taylor to grow. They know it's going to. And I think the government, city, and school, I want to talk about that a little bit later in the show. I don't want to butt it up against you because it's school district business and people get those confused. But really, you've done people trust government here. I don't see a lot of that, we don't want to grow anymore. They know the growth's coming. Let's do it smartly.
Right.
That's why I think that Mayor Areola talked about revisiting the comprehensive plan for Taylor, because the last one did not include Samsung. There was no way they knew Samsung and Ben White's efforts in economic development and all that were going to impact Taylor.
And in fairness, they did make some adjustments. They did make some adjustments in midstream of the comprehensive plan to account for it, but it wasn't enough to recognize the amount of expansion.
So you got to go back to the drawing board on that.
Right.
Absolutely.
So back to the Justice Center. You said we're in the construction documents phase. I know a lot of our projects go through a design and then bidding out to get a contractor. Is that the same for the Justice Center? Can you talk about what that process is?
Well, the Justice Center, the project method is a CMAR, which is a construction manager at risk. So we hire them on early on during the design instead of afterwards for the general contractor. So they're going to help us through the design and the general contractor at the same time, which helps with cost estimates. They help us, in the design to make sure we are have everything in place. And then we go to the design development where we look at the design and then have to make adjustments to fit the budget. So then we start making cutbacks. And then the construction documents is when the final phase, the nuts and bolts, where they actually go in and finish all the specs for all the construction. And then once they get done with that, they'll put it out for bid.
So we design to the dream, right?
Right, at first. That's the schematic
greatest
plan.
And best, and then we slowly pare that back to what's reasonable.
Right.
And then the contractor helps us do that. Once they finalize the budget, finalize their estimates, if things get more expensive, who covers that extra cost?
Well, with the CMAR, they are locked in at the guaranteed maximum price. So once we get that, the bids done, whenever that phase takes place, then they have to make the project work fit within that budget. If there's changes in the scope, that's different. But
Right.
for just the project, they have to make sure it fits within that, or they eat the cost.
So that's the main difference with, you might have heard about the pool project, right? We had it designed, an estimated cost. We got the funds to do it. And then when it went out to bid to contractors, it came back much, much higher than that initially had been estimated because of the timing. We had to release it, et cetera. And so we ended up having to dip into some other parks funds to cover those costs, those additional costs to make it happen.
Man,
So,
Tyler's going to have quite the facility when that's
it's going to be
finished.
amazing. Yeah, very much worth the total cost. But I just wanted
Absolutely.
to share that because for the residents to know this project can't be more expensive than
Right.
essentially what the contractor says. This is the final price once it's.
And
once
when does
it's
it go out
completed.
for bid to contractors?
We're looking at early fiscal year 26.
Okay, so
Hopefully
next
we're
year?
we're in that construction documents phase right now. It should last maybe till the end of the year, and then hopefully by early next year we'll go out for bid and then start the projects
Now-
shortly after that.
Does the city have to submit plans to itself to approve?
Yes.
Planning and zoning?
The answer is yes.
Okay.
We do have to, not necessarily,
So-
if we want to replat a property, we still have to go to planning
So
and zoning.
can
commission.
you kick back? Can you kick back your own project?
We can.
Wow,
Isn't that weird?
that is strange.
But also what it shows you, and some communities don't do this.
No,
it shows you that we hold to our own
Accountability.
rules, right? Yeah, exactly.
Right, and what's good for one is good for the other. And
Right.
if you're going to make them do it, you're going to do it yourself. That,
And
Right.
it's an extra layer of protection to make sure the contractors are
kind of
doing
like
what
your
we need to
vest
do.
today.
Yeah,
It's an
layer.
extra layer of protection.
This is a fashion statement,
It'll
not a
be
protection.
88 when you get out of here, but you're going to look good in that vest.
Well, I'll probably take it off if it's 88 when we leave, but
I think it's probably close to that now. Now here we are. We're all
We are.
looking at her.
We're all
deal.
going to look at our watch. 74. Mine says 74.
Okay. Well, it's 88 in here. Okay. What else?
So that's the Justice Center. One of the things I was curious about, I wanted to ask Nicole, also for myself, was you mentioned we have over 240 some odd vehicles / equipment. So how do we maintain and keep track of all of that? And at what point are vehicles replaced because they're aging and that sort of thing? How are those decisions made?
Good question. So we have a fleet replacement schedule, and normally, we review the fleet every single year to make sure it still fits that schedule, because we can put something on one year, and if we didn't have any maintenance costs that year, we might push it back another year. So a normal rotation on like a patrol unit, that's an SUV, it'd be about 6 years, 125,000 miles is when we would, replace it. And then other vehicles, about 10 years, 125,000 miles. Your larger equipment, you're getting into 15 years, 250,000 miles. And then on tractors, maybe 6,000 hours. So we meet with the fleet department superintendent each year. And of course, they do preventative maintenance all year long on these vehicles. And then when it comes to time to budget, we look at our CIP, which is a 5-year plan on
That's the
replacements.
capital improvement project.
Correct.
List. Right.
And we look at that, and then we look at the vehicles we've had on there for 5 years and review them, and then determine at that time if we need to keep them on for that year or push them back a few more years if they can make it.
That's low mileage for a patrol unit, 125,000 miles.
That's
pretty
the
fresh.
recommended replacement
That's what I said, that's pretty
time.
fresh fleet at 125.
Yeah. That's the standard recommended.
And where do you take the vehicles that you go out that you retire from the fleet? Is there an auction that Taylor holds itself?
Good
or do
question.
You take them out to the.
We use Gaston Sheehan in Pflugerville
Okay.
They're an auctioneer. They do auctions for City of Austin, Travis County, Williamson County. So when we have the new vehicle come in or equipment, at that time, then we strip the vehicles that are needed, remove the decals, and then take them over to the auction.
You ever think about the Blues Brothers? Do you remember the Blues Brothers movie? Do you remember what Elwood bought when he picked Jake up from prison? It was an old Chicago police cruiser, right? And I just think of that and you see people driving those vehicles, but now they're all kind of generic white or generic black. Those are the two.
Yeah.
You don't see the two tones like you used to.
Not as much.
Only the Highway Patrol, I think, does a two-tone vehicle.
And I never thought Crown Victorias would become a classic, but they're kind of are now.
Well, they are.
know?
And if you can find a good Crown Vic police with a pursuit package on it, you have got something there.
We just replaced some units that were 2013s, so we were getting up to, the age on those. And then this year we recently replaced like 36 units within the city since we had sales tax, money. We had vehicles that were 2004. We just replaced
Samsung for those extra units too.
We just replaced 2 fire department trucks that were 2004 and 2007. So we've been excited about all the new fleet on the ground.
Well, my question when you take it to the auction, it sells, you get the proceeds, right? The city does. Do you have an idea what an average return from the auction is on a vehicle? And that's a question you never would have thought you would ever be asked for that. How much? I'm curious to know what they sell for now.
I think it depends on
vehicle, of course.
Right, and then
car.
who's looking at that time at the auction.
Right.
On
do you ever
who needs something at that time?
Do you ever sell those vehicles to like a smaller city?
We can do an interlocal agreement for those.
For the purchase.
But even at the auctions, you'll often see either small
Smaller
cities
towns,
or volunteer departments who will be there, especially.
Right.
In my last community, I remember specifically we were quite shocked. There we sold online, so we didn't take it to an auction house. We just sold it online at a website called GovDeals. Great site if you haven't been on there to get surplus equipment. We had an ambulance that we were replacing. We were kind of debating between refitting the ambulance with a new box, so retaining the actual engine, the body of the vehicle, and the chassis,
cab chassis,
right? And then the other option was a complete replacement. And so refurbishing, I think, was around $60,000. Replacing the vehicle was about $80,000, and we thought we'd get maybe $25,000 when we sold it.
And what did you sell it for?
We ended up selling it for almost $50,000.
See, to a smaller community that needed it the way you had it instead of chopping it up.
Exactly.
That's good.
So then that life cycle continues,
Sure.
and it's running less often and that sort of thing. So they don't necessarily
and the
need.
city's got a great maintenance schedule, and your guy knows that. And the barn where's the barn? Is it this way?
No, they house out of the Public Works building.
And where's public? Right up the street, isn't
Right
it?
up the
On
street
Main
in that quad hut. What's
Quonset.
it called? Quonset hut.
Quonset
Quonset hut.
I know where that is, over by the chamber.
Yeah.
Right there
Quonset hut.
by Murphy Park.
By Murphy Park.
Yeah.
What a pleasure to have you come on with us today.
Well, thank you. It's been a pleasure to be here.
Yeah. Are you feeling better now?
I am. You want to go another hour?
We got all the time in the world, whatever you want to do.
I do have to get back to work and put out all the fires.
This is work. We're working here. We're working to educate the community.
You're employed at the communications department for a few minutes.
But we do need to talk about Hispanic Heritage Month. That starts next week. September 15th is when it kicks off. And we want to make sure that we cover, because that's a big chunk of our community.
It really is, and I think
it's
amazing how much the organizations across the city have come together this year. I don't know if we've ever done anything quite this extensive for Hispanic Heritage.
I think that's awesome too, by the way. Ronnie Castor, we do Hispanic programming on Saturdays here, and that's very important.
And so we have a lot of events, and just to keep in mind, these aren't all city-sponsored events. These are all just community coming together and creating these.
Well, it starts out with a city event with story time at the library.
It does, yeah. We have bilingual story time at the library for the month, starting Mondays at 11 a.m., and that's September 15th, I believe. Is that the Monday? Yeah.
Do you habla español?
I don't. It's one of those things on my.
I know. Trust me.
On my list.
I get that. You know, I wished I spoke better.
It's kind of sad. It's one of those things where my grandfather was
Your
ashamed.
Your great grandfather.
Well, my grandfather was ashamed
But your
of
great grandfather, I bet, spoke.
yes, they did, and my grandfather was ashamed of his culture and history, unfortunately, and so he chose not to teach his children Spanish. And in fact, he didn't even speak English until he was a teenager. So in their home, pretty much everything they interacted with, they lived outside of San Antonio, and they didn't speak English hardly at all. And so he didn't really learn it, read and write and speak it until he was a teenager. And so he chose to not teach his children any Spanish at all.
And then on Monday, we've got the very first Zumba class at Memorial Fieldhouse.
We have free Zumba at Memorial Fieldhouse, Mondays at 6 p.m.
You ever seen that? Have you ever seen a Zumba class before?
I actually haven't.
Wow. Man, it's like hot yoga. You get busy with that. You really do.
Have you done one?
Zumba?
Yeah.
No.
Maybe we need to do it.
No, but I'm
on
thinking
air.
about doing that for purse bingo. You know, they conned me and they shamed me into that
Oh yeah.
right here on my own sitting
On your own
right
show. So
on my own
you're going to be
show.
modeling purses
Yeah.
with me?
Yeah. You volunteered?
Oh yeah. Is it going to be me and you? Is that it? Is it the two of us?
Boy, isn't that gonna, boy, people are not going to get their money's worth
No.
on that deal.
No.
Could you imagine if it was just
Apparently,
the two
we're
of
also
us?
servers too. I'm not sure how that's going to end up
Look,
working.
I don't know about serving.
Apparently, they're going to give us some tables and we're going to serve snacks and
Snacks?
refill tea
no,
and whatnot.
No, there's not tea in this thing. It's
There's
a bunch
something.
of women and booze.
Oh, is it? Oh, is that?
It's
Is it mimosas?
It's alcohol.
It's alcohol. Okay.
No, it's alcohol.
Alcohol.
It's alcohol.
Alcohol. Oh, I probably can't do that on there. You don't have the rights to that song, do you?
Yeah, it's
you do?
country.
Okay.
We can sing alcohol. Yeah, that's pretty. But no, I see they get them all liquored up and then they start bidding. And I hear that, according to the head coach now, the Taylor Ducks and the athletic director, they catcall. I mean, and the women are, you know, it's kind of, you feel like you're Magic Mike
Yeah.
in this deal.
I've been to one auction where you feel kind of tricked because they get to the end, right? You're trying to be helpful. You know, it's one of those auctions for generous purposes. And you get to the end and someone's finally the highest bidder. And
Yeah.
they say, oh, hey, by the way, we have a second one. So the second highest bidder is also taking one away.
Oh,
which is kind of
yeah,
neat.
or-
But also, if you were just trying
Look, Tim,
to get them to raise the price,
you know,
you're messed up.
Tim from the Taylor Rodeo Association, right?
Uh-huh.
People go to that event. Have you ever been to one of those?
I haven't been to that
Well,
one yet.
you need to come with
Yes.
me next year. But people will buy the item and then they'll say roll it, and what that means is they're going to auction it again.
Yep.
So, and I've seen them roll it 3 or 4 times. You know, that better not happen to you and I out there, because we're going to run out of time, patience, and energy.
We're going to be walking down that. And apparently, we're walking in the middle of the crowd on
It's
on a
a
raised
catwalk.
platform. Yes.
It's a catwalk, and you have to have a little theme for yourself. And
Are you bringing your high heels? I mean, high-heeled boots. Is this? No.
you know, you went
Steve's-
right up
Steve's
to
look.
the edge, and then you fell off. Look, I want to continue this Hispanic
Yes.
Heritage Month. Saturday, September the 20th, is the Margarita Mile. It's not a run.
Speaking of alcohol,
It's not a run. This is primer to get you ready for the purse bingo. A 5K sip and stroll, okay, where you drink and then you walk and then you drink. And my daddy always told me 1 tequila, 2 tequila, 3 tequila floor,
right?
you know, because that stuff gets you. But they're going to have margaritas.
What I want to know is how many stops along this 5K.
I don't know.
because-
How far is 5K?
3.5 miles.
You're kidding.
No, it's 3.5 miles. That
Three
could be a
and
lot of
half
drinks between the
miles.
start and finish line.
Could you imagine the fleet needs that we're going to need school buses to get people
I think
to
walking
the
will be
end?
generous at the end, calling it a walk
Yeah.
or a stroll.
Can you imagine trying to run that? Then the 23rd is the salsa party at the library. And the little librarian, she's got to be all excited about this. There's a lot of things centered around the library during Hispanic
There is, and I
Heritage
think
Month.
remind me if I'm wrong, but Ancira, I believe, is going to be heavily involved in that salsa event.
Oh, Trey?
Yes,
Wherever two or more are gathered, Trey will hand out salsa.
indeed.
samples.
So we're going to have salsa dance lessons, salsa music, and salsa tasting.
And
Very
then
salsa.
this goes all the way through October with cumbia lessons at Heritage Square Park. There's also a concert that kicks this off, and I don't see that on here. No, the other is there's Music on Main, Vallejo on October 16th.
Yes, October 16th.
And then, of course, our chamber, our 5-star chamber, by the way, Tia Stone, we're doing Fiesta Taylor, which is we're not drinking Jose Cuervo at that deal. It's a high end, and we're going to have distillers where you talk about how you make it. We're going to have cigar rollers. You can learn how to do that, all kinds of fancy things at Old Taylor High.
Sounds very sophisticated.
Yeah, it is going to be pretty swank. I'm just telling you that right now.
Love it.
So we got a lot going on, but I think it's cool. Again, Jared, thank you for sending this out to folks. We sure appreciate that because that gives us something to talk about during the week.
Indeed.
What else you got?
Well, that's kind of the end of it from what I've
We've
got
already
to
had
bring
our
in.
calls. We've already had our special called meeting.
We
set
have.
the tax rate. We know
have.
it's lower.
Well, we've set the ceiling for the tax rate, so that's
Okay.
one thing as well to consider. At the meeting tomorrow, we have city council tomorrow night. It's unusual for it to be on a Wednesday
because it's a called. Well, there's a reason
because we
for
have
that.
the Patriot
And let's
Day
talk. I was
March.
going to wrap up with that.
Yes.
As you know, 9/11
Yes.
and what happened, and everybody that was alive as we talk remembers exactly where they were when that occurred. Right? You remember where you were?
I
Third
do.
grade. Where were you in third grade?
I wish. I was in preschool, actually.
Really? In
Yeah.
2001?
Yeah.
You
I
just
was.
made me feel so freaking
I had just
old.
turned 4.
4.
I had just turned
Wow.
4. Yep.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Remember where you were?
I was home. I had a baby on September 4th, so I was home
Oh.
watching the news when it happened.
Wow.
Kids in school.
Jared?
Yeah, I was working in TV. I was at a TV station at the time, so we turned to 24/7 breaking news then.
Yeah, it was intense that day
Indeed.
in 2001. That would make it 24 years ago. And in 24 years, some of us have forgotten what that day was like. You don't remember it, probably.
Just the aftermath.
I was sitting on an airplane ready to take off from Austin ABIA when we pulled away from the gate and pulled right back in. And I'll never forget the image of watching the flights cancel when that event occurred. Mm-hmm. And America, we lost our innocence that day. Mm-hmm. And the city of Taylor, as Mayor talked about yesterday, you're doing something very special starting at 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock.
We're shutting down Main Street. And
Yeah, it'll be shut down around 5:30. So
Yep.
as you're coming home from work, you just come onto the
Well,
march instead of going home.
We need to get that out. You need to probably send out a press release, send it to us. We need to get it on our socials and all that, because if you're going to go up to Main Street, which is 195.
Just
from-
95.
95, I'm sorry. That goes to Colleen. That's where I should be right now. But that's a challenge, but you're going to do something very special with the color guard, and we're going to remember. I have yet to figure out what we're going to do here for that. The first plane hit the tower early that morning, and I'm sure that we'll be doing something with Bob and Eric that morning, and then the second one hit in the 9 o'clock hour, I think, our time. So we will do something to remember those people
Right. And the march is something special to behold.
It
We
really
are
is.
one of the only cities in the country, a handful, who still do a memorial march for 9/11, and we've done it every single year.
And that's what makes you want to move back to Taylor.
It does.
Things like that.
And what's amazing too is Taylor hosts an academy for Honor Guard every year, and this is sort of their.
It just happened
It's
yesterday.
still going
didn't
on right now.
Oh,
Yeah.
is it still?
It is still going
working
on. They're gonna participate in the march, and they graduate on Friday.
Well, I hope everybody does not get upset because the road's closed. The roads will be closed for a reason,
It will.
and a very important reason.
And we encourage anyone who is trying to drive home to just stop and remember the
Catch your
moment.
breath, yeah, and
to
just
remember the people who
remember
sacrificed
yeah,
everything.
that's right. Thank you, Daniel.
So yeah, all that to say, please come to the Memorial March, but also that's why the council meeting was moved up a day.
Right.
So Wednesday.
it wouldn't fall on 9/11.
Indeed. So that's the meeting where we're going to hear from the public. If you're interested in making your voice heard about the tax rate and the budget, please come. You will get your 3 minutes to speak about the subject, about the tax rate and the budget. So
Okay.
we welcome that public input.
That's pretty good. So, in the streets, just FYI, and we need to get this on our news this week, gentlemen. We'll be closing the street down, 95 down at 5:30.
5:30.
Okay. And it will be closed from where to where? Do
It
you
will
know?
be closed from 7th Street all the way down to 2nd Street.
Okay, so where we are, so if you're coming on 79 from the west to east, that's 2nd Street.
It is.
So we need to make sure that everybody's vamonos down here at the McCrory Timmerman building before 5:30.
So if you're just trying to pass through town, typically you'd come up 2nd and then get on Main and then on 4th Street.
Right.
So you'll have to skip over Main Street and you'll have to go down 2 blocks and then turn left. You'll be
Or
able to
just
go up.
take the loop around.
You could also take the
Just
loop.
turn right instead of left when you get down to here,
Right.
and just take the loop around.
And same thing if you're traveling on 95, get on the loop, take it all the way around. You can get back on
because that
95.
loop now connects all the way around.
It does. Well, it connects all the way up to 95 on the north side of town. Right.
Well, that's all the way around.
Well, there's a quarter of the loop is unfinished.
No, you can go the back roads. Get there.
That's fair.
It'll make it.
Sounds good.
Look, we appreciate y'all coming in today. As every Tuesday is, Taylor Roundup. We talked about some very interesting topics today.
We have. And
I'm
next week
impressed.
we hope to have Brian on. We wanted to have him on today
Brian
as well.
who?
And
Is he the city manager?
something like that.
He's the CEO, basically, of Taylor.
Yes. Well, I learned actually our code enforcement department has CEOs, code enforcement officers. I learned that for the first time yesterday. They actually abbreviate in communication.
Now that we've
CEO.
figured out across the radio, dial that you're just a pup,
Yeah, I'm learning as we go.
You got N is for knowledge. Just know that if you ever went to Nebraska.
Knowledge.
N is for knowledge in Nebraska.
N is for knowledge.
N
Okay.
is for knowledge. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, look, you're listening to Hometown Highlights, the Taylor Roundup edition, here on your radio station, 98.5 KRXT, Rockdale, Taylor, and Cameron, and we'll be right back after this.